I need to ask you a question. Be curious, Drifters.
Allegron's won the Brisbane Cup, but it's all Antino. Blake Shin, take a bow. Barraquil, Benny Allen hasn't moved.
Broadside in Bob, won the Golden Rose.
Pride of Jenny, trying to find the reserves at the 100. She's 3 in front of Mr. Brightside. It's all too late. Pride of Jenny has run them into the night. Switzerland, the big winner by 2.5 Bellatrix Star.
He's down, Jolly Star. She is a star in the making. Jolly Star bolts in.
It's all Isthmus. She's very smart and fast.
Tell you what, mate. Everest Caulfield Cup Day, I don't really care what type of day it is. It's just a good day to be a horse racing fan, isn't it?
Oh, not looking forward to it at all. Haven't been thinking about it all week at all. Pure dross.
Is it the best day on the calendar from like a racing spectacle, do you think now?
You could certainly make an argument.
In terms of like the pure girth of the options that are available.
Thick and long. These cards, that's for sure. Best of both worlds. I've never heard that before, but worst of both worlds I've heard plenty of times. Look, I think it is. You got the Caulfield Cup, time-honoured race, and then a good supporting card in Caulfield. And that's, staying handicap, traditional Australian race. And then you've got the new age Zoomer, the Everest in Sydney, pop-up sprint race for 20 mil, a cool 20 mil. And that has a great supporting cast as well on the rest of the cards. So very much looking forward to it, mate. Would you, if you had to take one or the other, would you take Sydney or would you take Melbourne this weekend?
Like from a betting proposition or just like what's the better card?
As an enthusiast. As a supporter of the great game.
That's a good question. Probably the Sydney card, I'd say. And because there's the element that like it or not, mate, like the Everest has done what it's done, right? Like the thing is a week after the Everest is done, they start talking about the Everest for next year. And that's one part of it. But I don't think it can be understated of what the Kosciuszko does either. Because that gives the country trainers like a realistic target to make a shitload of cash as well. So I think that's a fantastic initiative. And to be fair, I think you can take your 5 diamonds, you can take all these other bullshit races and do more of that. Like, you know what I mean? It's like less is actually more sometimes. It's like so. But we've talked about that plenty of times. Probably the Sydney card.
I agree. Just because of the Everest, like, it's a fascinating spectacle each and every year. Not just for the race itself, which is over lickety split, but because of the lead up and the build up. And I think this year's been probably because of Car Ying Rising, the most talked about, it's got the most media attention, the most fascinating. And you know what? I think really, really good horses, like superstar world-class horses, lift the other horses around them. A high tide raises all ships, as they say, because it's going to take a special performance to get him beat, even if he's not at his best. We'll talk about that more later, but if you look at the careers of Black Caviar, in particular, Winks, once they were off the scene, there's plenty of good horses left to run big races. So, I can't wait for it, mate. Fascinating race. And then, it's just a smorgasbord for the entire day. Going to be fat as a bus afterwards, just on the smorgasbord of racing. Just gulp. Yummy, 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 yummy.
Well, I have a follow-up question to everything that you just said. Do you like cash?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Do you like $500 worth of a prize?
Half a gorilla is better than 0 gorillas.
Yeah. So that's what we're putting up. To you, the drifter, the punter, for starting this week for the next 4 weeks. So this weekend for Caulfield Cup, Everest Day, Cox Plate Day next week, Derby Day, and then Champions Day. Basically, the coming to the orgasm of the Spring Carnival. We're putting up
the
$500 prize of your choosing. So basically, if you wanted $500 worth of Guzman, you got it. If you want a Bunnings voucher, it's all yours. Woolies, fuel, whatever you want.
To clarify,
really
it's
easy.
a voucher. It's not
Yes,
$500 worth of burritos in your hand. It's a voucher. Anything you want.
Anything you
weird
want.
And exotic.
Yes. Hit our link in bio to enter. If you've been a part of our tipping competitions in the past, you will receive an email to anyway. When do you reckon you'll send that one out, mate?
The first one will go out tomorrow mid-morning, and that email will go out to everyone who's signed up newly for this competition since we opened up the website earlier this week, and also everyone who's partook in one of our tipping comps in the past. Apologies, but you will be receiving an invite to take part in this tipping competition. If you do not sign up and you don't enter your tips in for this weekend, you'll be taken off that list. So there's only 1 or 2 emails realistically that you'll have to ignore. So, much to look forward to. 20 races, so you'll have to put in your tip for each one of the races across both Caulfield and Randwick. Looks to be 2 ways of looking at this weekend. We'll talk about it more, but there's some shorties and there's some roughies that could get the JD. So plenty to look forward to.
Yeah, a tip in each race in Sydney and Melbourne on a 3-2-1 basis. So 3 points for first, 2 points for second, 1 point for third. Double points if you tip something at double figure odds with the good people at Ned's. So if it starts $10 or higher, you get double points. Doesn't apply for second or third. Believe it or not. Yes, fixed price. Fixed price. Believe it or not, we do deal with winners only here on this podcast, believe it or not, which takes me to my next point. We have another hosted pod for those of you brave enough to partake.
You masochistic fucks.
Well, isn't one of the like most well-known sayings of all time, like misery loves company. So it's like, let's be miserable together. And who knows, we actually might put in a performance. And on a day like this, I think it'd be rude not to have a little play in each race. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I reckon it could be the day, and it could be a day for a couple of filthy 5 or 6 leg multis.
Yeah, it's just depending on the pot. Depending on the pot, because I'm looking at pot size. It's not as big as previous weeks, which is fair enough.
So
yeah. Both of the links to those in the show notes here. www.onthedriftpodcast.com if you wanted to sign up for the tipping comp. Open up your local Ned's app. You can find our mugs are there, and you can give us the finger and then sign up if you want, or you could just let it go. The decision's actually yours, believe it or not. All right, I've said my piece. What do you want to do? We typically start in Melbourne, then head to Sydney. Do you want?
I think we should
keep it up.
I think we should. I think we should do that because the Everest has got to be close to the finale. It's we crescendo, we climax, we orgasm at the Everest, and then we peter off, and there's a few puffs after the Everest just to get the rest of it out. So let's do that.
So we do the Everest and then we go to sleep. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, why don't we cover the Everest off in 2 minutes and then go to sleep? We're on a countdown, mate. It's not going to last much longer.
Fucking hell, that's funny. All right, race 2, the Neds Classic at Caulfield, 2,000 metres, Group 3 for the 3-year-olds at set weights. The rail is out 3 metres, and from my last checking of the Melbourne weather, I think it'll be absolutely fine. A bit of a milder day on Saturday, I believe. I think the track is rated good for currently, if there is an upgrade. No disadvantage to be on speed, as is any racetrack in Australia, I would have thought. So I thought this Neds Classic, mate, was very, very difficult to actually pick apart. You have a lot of that Derby preview form kind of mixing with each other, and options actually got scratched from this race because they basically were like, you know what, don't want to run from that dross barrier.
Yeah, I've just seen that, and I was keen on options. He's probably the horse that I'm going to follow all the way through to the Derby. I'm guessing he's going to race next week in that that Vars race at the Valley. And I thought, honestly, the only real danger to him for mine was number 5, Engine of War, and you're still getting $3.50 for that horse. It draws a nice gate. He's got the Throbber mark on. And if you look at his start so far, this prep was too good for him first up, Sandown Hillside, and then went to that Derby preview, that Autumn Mystery one. Super slowly run race, and he's come absolutely flying home. He gets a better draw here with Mark on. I think he'll take a prominent position, and he could probably go at a better clip. So Engine of War for me, $3.50. Happy to be with him on the weekend because he was the only danger to options for mine.
Yeah, I think honestly, mate, I thought this was impossible. I thought all of these horses were so similar, and the 3 that are really hard in the market, Mirwet, Autumn Mystery, Engine of War, they all seem, on recent form at least, to get back in their runs as well. I thought there was a really good run from Arabian Prince, though, last start behind options for Michael Kent, son of Gayarth. So I think I might even just stick in his corner. I think he's going to improve up to 2,000 metres, and you know he's around that same price anyway. So I think it's one of the 4, to be honest. But you know, we'll see. The Ethereal is race 3, 2,000 metres, Group 3 for the fillies, 3-year-old fillies at set weights and penalties. Tell you what, Just a Journey is short here, $2.50. Are you interested in that price?
You know what I am, actually. I thought that Enviable would come down from Sydney for this race, and she was a pretty good 4th in the flight stakes up in Sydney, and she was favourite in early markets for this race, but clearly she hasn't made the journey down.
She's racing tomorrow, so Friday.
Is she?
Yeah, in a cup somewhere, you know, in Sydney.
Yeah, interesting. I didn't know that. I think Just a Journey is the obvious one from the form line, and where it gets to in the running with Blake on. I just don't know about that price at $2.50. Like I appreciate why it should be favourite. It's just it's a pretty short price to be taking about a 3-year-old filly, particularly when a lot of these have been mixing their form and taking turns. But I agree she should be favourite. The one that I thought was a big price that could run a cheeky race coming from Kilmore was number 8, Grand Omaha. I think Matt Laurie's due for a bit of a turnaround of luck. The poor fella. He's had a rough couple of weeks after starting spring off with a bang. She gets a nice draw, and she's been running super in far lesser grade. This is a step up, but I thought she was a nice horse at the price. So they're the 2 for me. Yum, funny horse, but I think we'll get too far back, particularly from that gate, and I don't want that at Caulfield this weekend.
Yeah. I was actually thinking of Imperialist, same silks, is racing tomorrow. So disregard what I was saying about Enviable. Yeah, I'm giving the filly who actually beat Just a Journey a chance in the 1,000 Guineas, to be honest. Get a good feeling. Thought that was a really impressive performance. So I think it is barrier 5, shin on. Like, I think it's just going to be awfully hard for her. She'll control this from out in front, I think, and just be like, you know what, come get me. The only query that I have is the step up from the mile to the 2,000 metres. So will she be vulnerable late? She could improve. $2.50. Do I want to find out at that price? Probably not at this stage, but I don't really see too many of these really affecting her at this stage, at least. Race 4, the Gothic Stakes, 1,200 metres for the 3-year-olds at set weights and penalties. As previous winners of this: Lofty Arch, Arkansas Kid, Sandpaper, Extreme Flight, Royal Pride, Alabama Express, and Rainy Air, lol. So, obviously not the best form line heading into a Coolmore of all time, but I don't think you have the likes of, say, Tentyrus, I believe he's been named now, not Tentris, Tentyrus, and Raging Force. I think they're the clear two horses going to be fighting this out, with all due respect to McGaw.
Yeah, I think McGaw was in the Travelator down the Flemington Straight last start. He was in the best part of the ground, and he also was at that race third up, ready to peak. He could run to the same level again, but I think Tentyrus, my apologies, stupid, is going to go to another level. He clearly, first up, running after a massive break, just ran out of puff in a part of the track that just wasn't the going, I think, down the Flemington Straight the other week. So I'm keen to be with him here. Again, he is, on the wrong side of $3, whereas Raging Force is on the right side of $3. But for mine, Raging Force, I think he's maybe doing a little bit of this, and they're freshening him up. Maybe he needs this run to try and peak again for a Coolmore stud, whereas Tentyrus is doing this. Tentyrus, my apologies. So I'm happy to be with him. Throw a mark on Tentyrus.
Yeah. Now, so Raging Force has had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be his 6th run since the 1st of June. Like that, I think that's pretty taxing for a lightly raced horse. I think I have a feeling I got out of the casino with him, to be fair.
I think you might have.
Yeah, and as I'm speaking, mate, can you do me a favour and look up Tentyrus's price in a Coolmore Stud Stakes, please? Because after his last run, he was around $15. And the other thing that I heard from Kieran Maher about Tempted is she's no guarantee to actually head to a Coolmore.
Wow.
Yeah, so, and I would imagine that she's pretty high up in those markets currently.
I'll read you the market out. Bayvarks is a $3 favourite with the good people at Ned's. Tempted 7s, Beedman 8s, Tentyrus 8s. My Gladiola 15s is probably the value. If you're keen on Raging Force in this race, he's $21 with the good people at Ned's. So if you like him here, have a bet on that price.
Yeah. So the 15s is gone, which is annoying because I said I was going to put it on my profile and I didn't. So that's annoying.
Sure.
But I think $8 is still bettable because
if Tempted comes out of that market, if he wins this race, he'll be Fice.
Yeah, and I think he'll be shorter. I just think he wins the Coolmore, mate. And don't take my word for it, Drifters, clearly, because, clearly out of form at the moment. But that's what I'm thinking is I just think this horse is better. And Baywak, like, is he that good? I don't know. Like, was that just a freak performance? Whereas I think this horse is a freak.
That Bayvark performance was out of this world. So if he gets anywhere near that, good luck to everyone else. But no, you think you're right to have some trepidation, particularly because he is the son of Biv. And Biv sometimes rocked up to the races and was thinking to himself, you know what? Wish I stayed
Not
in bed
today,
today.
bro. Yeah. Not today. But Biv's best runs were actually down the straight as well.
they were
So there's
brained Nature Strip down the straight, and Nature Strip liked the straight too. Fuck it out.
Yeah, so
Horny stuff. He was horny that day.
Yeah, it was a naughty, horny cult.
We whacked him.
Yeah.
And Arcadia Queen was like $3 on that day as well in the McKinnon
that
Stakes.
day.
Please. That two-leg
And
multi.
And I reckon 50 Stars ran second to her. That was a free Quinella. 50 Stars. Good horse. All right. Race 5, the Alinghi, 1100 metres listed for the fillies and mares. Previous winners of this race. Neonce, Lem Picker, a very fine reg, Maliva, California Zimbol, and Hummer Hummer. Turning back the clock. Haven't heard that horse's name for a while. So, yeah, no stars. But I don't know. I don't think there's any real big stars in this field either.
No. So we've got to start with Acacia, who's the $4.40 favourite with the good people at Ned's. Because she's got the form around My Gladiola, because she's got the form around Mahuna, I think that's why she's come a favourite here. But I don't know. I'm probably happy to take her on, the 3-year-old filly, heading to this race. I don't mind Photograph, the Godolphin horse, number 10, Hong Kong jockey, Adria Atzeni. Is that how you say his name?
I think so.
I've absolutely butchered him. Flies in from Hong Kong. Jumps on this horse for the Hayes boys. I'm loving these Godolphin things first run new stable, particularly for a stable like Lindsay Park.
Oh, bruh.
From a nice gate at $13, that's each way better the day for me. Because she's shown enough talent that if she gets into a new environment, particularly this sort of environment, maybe she'll go to a new level. So, Photograph for me. Team Blue all the way.
Mate, do you remember we were at a pub, I reckon.
Doesn't sound like us.
Yeah, it would have been in April this year. And I said to you, I'm like, Harry Coffey's going to have to give this thing like an 11 out of 10 ride. And it was Soft Love at 10-1, and she's landed up winning by 2 lengths. Unbelievable performance. Now, the strength of that race, I don't think was that great, but I think she's a mare with a bit of talent, I think. Will she measure up to this sort of grade with that weight? Maybe not. So she's one I'm considering. The other one is I can forgive Tiger Shark for one poor run as well.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah. And, you know, beating 11 lengths where she was clearly not herself against, like, the Everest runners. Like, before that, she was outstanding beating the boys. Back to her own sex. Barrier 12 does suck, but maybe she needs to be ridden quiet. Yeah. Maybe
she'll come across and find a spot.
Yeah. And I think there's potentially enough speed with, like, the likes of Osmar and the likes inside anyway. So, Tiger Shark or Soft Love for me at a bit of an each way price.
It's one of those races, I think.
Yeah. All right, race 6 is the Herald Sun Sprint. Which was previously known as the Millennium Sprint. Group 2 handicap over the 1,000 metres. Last year, Estrella won this from Dool, Asfura, Oxley Road. An ill-fated best bet of the day on Derby Day one year. Graf, Miss Leonidas, Eduardo, and Snitty Kitty. Similar vibes. Nadal, no guarantee to be running here, listening to the stable.
No.
Again.
Yeah, again. And even if he was running, I'd be prepared to risk him because I think there's a 1,000-metre horse for a 1,000-metre race and it's wearing Blacksoil Bloodstock Queensland Silks number 7 zealously. Short, $2.40, but this is the best bet of the day. Absolute demolition job at its last start, Warwick Farm. Broke the track record over 1,000 metres. gets a nice draw here with 53 kilos, it'll just go quick and it'll be over before you know it. I've been trialling up a bomb. A lot of these are looking for further. I think it'll catch him napping. I think this is a good bet on the weekend, zealously.
I'm not potting it. I don't want to bet on him though. Him. What is he?
Him.
4-year-old gelding. I've said these words on this podcast previously, and maybe Piscinello just pisses this in. And to your point before, Lindsay Park, Godolphin, first up, like that sort of stuff gets me up and about. And I think they couldn't have been more glowing talking about this thing. They're like, this horse just has, and he's one of the best looking horses in the country, Piscinello. He always looks like an absolute stunner. So all the yard watchers are going to be backing this thing. He's just been more inconsistent than consistent in the last 12 months, I'd say. But that's the vibe, and he's still got a 50% winning strike rate.
Hey, and he's $8.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So 54.5, Jamie, just to get the confidence up before getting half yours home. Barrier 9 sucks, but I reckon he'll just be off him and just go whooshka.
Yeah. No, he was the next one, Piscinello, but I just think the setup for Zealously is perfect. So really keen to be with him on the weekend. He'll be the best bet of the day for the victim. We've already consulted.
Okay. The 1,000 Guineas, Group 1, over the mile for the fillies at set weights. Another Profit won this last year. Jolly Star.
That's right. Where are they now?
Yeah. Jolly Star the year prior. Madame Pomeroy in the wet. Yearning, Odium, Flit, Amphitrite, Aloysia, and Global Glamour.
Jeez, he gets to those ones, and I reckon I've picked the eyes out of all those until Madame Pomeroy. Good. Jolly Star, that was the leader's bias day, wasn't it? That's right, yeah. I was on Skybird. Anyway, what do you reckon, mate? We've got some Sydney form coming down, flying down.
Yeah. At $2 in pretty sedately run races, probably want to take her on. And like maybe should go out and brain him. Like, she has the best form, obviously. Like, her rating suggests that, but I've already secured the price for Ole Dancer weeks ago. Like, I've got a ticket for $15 for her. She's $5.50 here. Finally drawn a gate, which is massive for her, and has Blake Shin. So she's, of the Victorians, she's probably the one I'm most confident on. But as I said to you, get a good feeling. That was an insane performance last start because she was held up until the 150, and then she's got out and just absolutely chased the line. I'm actually spewing that they haven't gone to the ethereal. Like, I think she just wins that race, hands down.
I thought she'd go there too. I think they pulled the wrong rein because being a So You Think filly out of a Testarossa mare, like, she'd eat up the 2,000 and she'd be an Oaks filly for mine. So a little bit disappointed. But she's $10, so like if you want to play each way, she's a palatable price.
And if she's running on to 4th or 5th, we might get $5 for a wakeful on Derby Day, which would be a gift.
Well said.
So
and hey, what do I think about those silks?
Sexual stuff.
Sexual.
Yeah.
So who you backing, Ole Dancer, or you just don't even need to bet in the race because you already got a ticket?
So since I've got the price for her, I don't need to bet on her again. So I'll be betting on Get a Good Feeling because I think she's a big price at $10, and she's on the up and up, mate. Like, I don't know how good she is yet.
No, well said. I'm thinking the same for Apocalyptic though. I think she's untapped this prep because she's been in sedately run races. And you can say the same for a lot of these Victorian fillies. Like they haven't gone bonkers in any of their runs, which makes Get a Good Feelings run last start even more impressive. So that's the one that I think is the biggest threat to Apocalyptic. I think Apocalyptic gets the same setup here that she's gotten her entire prep. Sedately run, she'll find either the lead or just behind the lead from a nice gate. And she's got the sharpest sprint. She's one for me who I think as she gets older is probably going to be a 12 to 1400 metre horse in that Jolly Star mould. But she can put these away over a mile. And $2.10, I'll take the black odds. Maiden Call at 17s will run a bold race. She's another one who should have gone to the Ethereum into a Wakeful. So from that gate, you know where she's going to be. And it's just a low percentage play over 1600 metres at Caulfield with a sedate pace. If Apocalyptic handles Caulfield, she wins this race.
Yeah, that's the other thing as well, right? Maiden Call, first preparation, fourth run. This would be a Group 1 level, obviously. Last two at Group 2 level. Like, how much is left in the tank, you know what I mean?
I respect the stable for having a throw at the stumps in a G1, but I think they should have taken it to the 2,000 metre race. And then if she bolts in and she's eaten up a Tucker, take her to an Oaks. If she doesn't, spell her. Bring her back for the Oakses in the autumn.
Yeah, that's a good take. I was kicking up for Karinska, who I thought was really good in the flight as well. I think she's a big track horse. That's my gut feeling. So I don't think Caulfield would really suit her. And you could say the exact same thing about Ole Dancer, to be fair. Like, she was outstanding at Sandown. So I think she's another one where I could even see them Moods taking and Kath taking her to like a Carbine Club if she doesn't show up here. I think that's a nice race for her. And so I think they're the main three for me, with Karinska running into fourth because I think that's what she'll do for a lot of her career. Now, what's the name of this race, mate? Race 8.
Team Blue Mo'unga Stakes.
You've done it again. 3 years in a row.
The Moonga Stakes. And you know what?
Yeah.
I was looking at it. This week, and I was thinking, I was like, why does Mo'unga have a race named after him? And then I was like, oh, that's right.
The Neds Moonga Stakes, 1400 metres, Group 3 at set weights and penalties level. Mighty Ulysses won this last year from Buffalo River in the Buffalo River's won 2 of the last 4, actually. Aegon, Wild Planet, and Streets of Avalon. So can throw up a result this race.
Yeah, clearly.
I think this is really good placement from Joe Pride, though.
I think Jack Pride's put Private Eye in the perfect race. With Hot Nash, who he's like Everest Carnival. Please send me down to Melbourne to ride this horse. Nash is riding with some confidence. I reckon he'll take Private Eye across, sit just forward in midfield, and I think he'll be too good for these. 59 kilos. He's well weighted. He's clearly the best horse in the race. Like he's been racing really well this prep. He's got great form. A lot of these would dream to have his CV, and then they'd wake up and realise that they're in a nightmare. Private Eye is a great bet this weekend. I think. I think the market will come for him. I think he'll start 240, 230.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I really do. And
I'm not a Private Eye guy. You know I'm not a Private Eye guy.
I know, mate. This could be your best get out of the casino yet. I reckon
It could be. Probably my only one.
And you know what, mate? You know what? I'm going to join you.
Let's rob the casino together.
Yeah.
We'll both go down with this ship.
Yeah. It's happened before.
It has.
Yeah.
They gave us double figures for Isthmus, remember? Can you believe it?
They did. Yeah,
and that wasn't get
did.
out of the casino because she hasn't raced since.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. This is there's probably a step back in class here for Payline, the Queenslander as well. Barrier 7 gets shin on as well. That's a significant upgrade. He was 4 lengths away from War Machine in the Stradbroke. Kind of held that form in the Gilgai, but I think he does suit getting out to the 1400 metres. Not really one of mine, and on all things considered, I do think Private Eye is lobbed in here. I think he just kind of controls this from out front and goes, see you boys and girls. All right, Caulfield Cup. Maybe let's do a quick run of by runner. What do you reckon?
Yep, sounds good.
2,400 metres, handicap, Group 1, one of the 4 majors. I think they kind of have to relook at that. I think there's a 5 majors now, obviously with the Everest as well. Remember the year that Frosty won the Golden Slipper, he won the Caulfield Cup, he won the Cox Plate, and then he had Murder Glass into the Melbourne Cup. He was going for I don't know what you'd even call that, the feature slam. And then Murder Glass ran about 5th or 6th in the Melbourne Cup that year.
Yeah, that's right.
Unbelievable. Previous winners. Duke de Sessa, found by yours truly last year at a double-figure price. Without a fight, I think I might have found him as well. I think you might have found him too. Durston we didn't find. Incentivize, you were all over him like an absolute rash.
Best futures bet of all time.
I think you were very keen on... I think you were keen on Very Elegant. Murder Glass.
Yes, I had her to beat Tony Van Dyke. May he rest in peace.
Oh, yes, and I was on Tony. That's right. One of the most puzzling rides you'd ever see from Hugh Bowman of all time. Murder Glass, the year prior. Best Solution for Godolphin. Boom Time at a huge price for Lindsay Park. And then Jamaica the year prior to that. So good horses do, some pretty decent horses in that winners list. All right, let's go through this runner by runner. Vauban, 5th in the Metropolitan in a bit of a weird race, to be honest. He started $12 there. He had 58.5 kilos. He has that here. Beaten 1.3 lengths. I probably just want to risk him.
Yeah, I'm happy to risk him just because of the weight. I think he bounced back in the Metro, to be honest. Like, I know he finished 5th, and you wouldn't class the Metropolitan as a high-grade Group 1, but I thought he was a bit unlucky, and he should have finished closer with the top weight. So he's one for exotics, absolutely, I think. I just, with that weight and from the wide gate, knowing that he's got a Melbourne Cup run to come, I'm happy to risk him, but I think he'll run a nice race.
Yep. Presage Nocturne, one of the Europeans coming over, to my eye, needs way further. So I think he's on a Melbourne Cup path. He's won 3 times at the 2,500 metres and further. So, yeah, his price is, I think relevant at $34.
Cannot wait to see him in the yard. 6-year-old Entire, grey son of Wooton Bassett. He'll be looking good in the yard. He will be.
He will be. Middle Earth, the son of Roaring Lion, Barrier 3. How many horses did Craig have in this field? Is it 3 or 4?
He has 3 horses in this race, Middle Earth being one of them, the half-brother of Buckaroo. Middle Earth had a sneaky good run in the Turnbull. Like, he finished 9th, but he completely missed the start. So, look, if he does that again, he's just not going to win. But he's been afforded a nice gate. I think he's got a pretty good weight. And he's been building for this his entire prep, and it's his grand final. He's a knockout hope, Middle Earth, but he'll knock himself out of contention if he misses the jump.
I don't think he's a knockout hope at all. I think he's a genuine top 3 chance. And at $13, he's probably the best value in the race, to be fair. He's drawn sticky-ish his last couple of runs, especially, like, say, in the Underwood. He drew Barrier 1, but he also missed the kick. So I think that is the key to him. So I've no doubt that Kieran Maher would just be putting in a ton of time into him to just get him to jump. And 2,000 metres, back to the 1,800, back up to the 2,000. I can see the improvement that he's making. I think he's a bet in this race at that price. I really do. Mark, just, one of the best staying jockeys. He knows the right one to get on as well. And when asked, the Mars stable, so they have Middle-earth Zardozi and, of course, Royal Supremacy. Royal Supremacy at $8.50, Middle-earth at 13s. They were pushing Middle-earth far harder. So I wouldn't be surprised if the prices kind of at least leveled out or flipped. I think Middle-earth starts single figures. I think it's the current value in early betting.
They're a big gambling stable as well, as you know. So, look, I think he's, he's just got to nail that start, and he's right in it, and that's just got to be a concern.
Absolutely. Maidan, so hasn't won for 72 weeks. The stable, this is the same stable that brought over West Wind Blows, and they were actually the stable that looked after Without a Fight before the Freedmans kept him as well. They say that he's at the same level as West Wind Blows, if not better. I beg to differ, to be fair. I think this horse is extremely one-paced, and I think he's probably some of the biggest unders, in my opinion. So and it was a while ago now, but June 2024, just referencing some form that, the drifters will actually know. He ran fourth behind Illinois, where he basically he was off pace, but he had a decent run, and that is the run from Birdman that would have had Aussie Kerr and Craig actually buy that horse. He was 3 wide the trip beside Maidan there, and Birdman absolutely put him to the sword. So I think the price discrepancy between those two horses is too big. And yes, Maidan has obviously improved since then, but mate, he hasn't won a race since then. So you know what I mean? It's like he can run on a bit. That's my point.
Yeah, fair.
Anything else to add about that horse?
No, you've nailed it.
Okay. All right. Absurd, barrier 1 for Willie Mullins. Gets to see his old mate Vauban again. They're usually just running together in Melbourne Cups. Yeah. But they take him to the Caulfield Cup this year, the son of Fastnet Rock. I think one of the stable assistant trainers actually put in a captain's call against Willie and went like, "Bruh, take this thing to a Caulfield Cup instead of a Melbourne Cup as a kick-off point." So I think he's won at a big price that will actually run a bit of a race if he can sit a little bit closer. I think he's run pretty decent in Australia, to be fair.
Yeah. I think he's one if you're playing in the wider exotics, you can chuck in. He's got a nice draw. He's got a nice weight. He'll say the distance. And his form down here has been pretty good. So, yeah, I think he's one who's nicely priced.
Yep. Land Legends probably not going well enough, I would have thought.
No, couldn't possibly.
And you can say the exact same thing about Zardozi as well. She's just off her tucker.
She is, yeah. She ran pretty well last prep without winning, Zardozi. Pretty taxing Melbourne Cup campaign prior to that as a 4-year-old mare. I like Zardozi. Always will after her Oaks romping. I think she's past her best.
Yeah. Mate, Adelaide River has discovered some form in his last couple. Nearly knocking off Birdman. Birdman didn't really frank the form. Maybe that's a bit harsh in the Metropolitan. He drew horrifically there. And then he wasn't horrific in the Turnbull either. I think he might improve getting out to this sort of distance. So I think at $27, he wouldn't absolutely shock me. I think there's others better placed though.
Yeah, agreed. There's others I put ahead of him a fair few.
Banker's Choice, the Mornington Cup winner, well, he's 100 to 1. So I think he might run top 10.
Be a shock.
Yeah. Deacon, not bad in the Turnbull either. But again, I think there's better chances of the locals.
He's in the Melbourne Cup, Deacon, right? He's qualified.
I believe so.
I think he's had a great prep leading into a Melbourne Cup. So I think this is just another stepping stone for him. I think he'll be running well, Deacon. And we know he's going to run out a strong 2,400 metres, but he wouldn't be fully wound up for this. But he's $18. So again, if you want to include him in your multiples and your wider exotics.
Yeah. Golden Snap, the Japanese runner. So 6-year-old mare, and I think she's a grey as well.
She is a grey.
So she hasn't won for 40 weeks, and her form is definitely better over further. But she's not yet qualified for the Melbourne Cup. She needs to run top 8 to make the field. So I think there'll be some sort of intention here. And they've been quite, listening to the stable about this horse, they've been very deliberate in their approach with this mare. Basically, it's been an 18-month plan to target her towards the Melbourne Cup.
Wow.
So they've basically gone deliberately not going towards much black type racing over in Japan to keep her weight down. So I think she'll run a bit of a race, and I'm not surprised that there's been a bit of market support for her either. I think winning would be a bit of a stretch, but I think similar to Warp Speed last year, Flemington 2 Mile, she could be featuring.
Yeah, and the Japanese horses, whenever they come here, they always run well. Like they're rarely disappointing. Yeah, I can see her on that first Tuesday in November on a dry Flemington deck, really stretching out Golden Snap. So tricky draw, like, you know, where the fuck did she get to from 18? So it'd be some effort to see her winning, knowing that this isn't a grand final either. But yeah, really excited to see her. Love the Japanese coming over.
Has to run top 8 to even make the field, so there has to be some sort of intention here. So she has to run well. Revelare, barrier 12, Luke Curry, 53.5. He's been super, one of the most informed stayers of the locals. Would get a penalty for winning this heading into a Melbourne Cup, so I don't think he'll be fully wound up, and I think it's another good prep run.
Yeah, he had a slow recovery last start, so finishing 7th, and that was a weird race as well, with Valiant King winning and Gilded Water being, you know, ahead by 20,000 lengths at one point. So yeah, agreed. I think just another good prep run for Revelare, heading towards the Melbourne Cup.
Yeah. River of Stars. Now, am I remembering her career best run? Yes, where she set that ferocious tempo in the Sydney Cup and held on for 3rd. Still beaten 3.5 lengths there.
Super run.
So they might potentially click her up here from barrier 4 and set a genuine tempo again. At $91, I think, you know, why not? Might even set it up for it to be a true staying contest. But yeah, she's probably, based on a spring run, she's probably not going well enough. Birdman, $17, barrier 10. T.O. Nugent in the saddle. Beaten 2.5 in the Metropolitan. Had a dog shit barrier there from barrier 16. But I think he's been hitting the line really well this prep. Yeah,
he's been going super. He's 4th up here. This always being the idyllic grand final for Birdman. I think 10's a good gate for him because, you know, T.O. can burst out and have a quick assessment of where he's going, but his natural gate speed means he's probably going to be back of midfield. So he's going to need luck. He's just going to need luck, Birdman, but he's one who I think can finish in the top 3 absolutely. You know, he just needs a bit more luck, and he goes awfully close to the Metropolitan. So, yeah, He's definitely a top 3 chance.
Yeah. His form profile is interesting. 1 win from 11 starts on good ground. I think that's a bit of a Fugazi stat because he's a stayer that would probably only win once a prep anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you agree with that? I think he gets on. He's fine on top of the ground.
I think so. Well, his recent win in the Kingston Town was on a good 4, and it's been hot in Sydney, mate. For once, hot and dry. So, yeah, I agree. I just think with his pattern, and the fact, like you said, he's a stayer. He's going to lose more races than he wins. But I'm thinking, and we might talk about it a bit more, but I'm thinking with this map and the pace of the race, the field's going to be broken up enough for him to come home.
Half yours, barrier 2 with Jamie Mellon on board, $2.90. Fantastic run in the Turnbull. Better run against inferior opposition, but Brandon by 3.5 lengths in the naturalism. The more I look at it, the more I think it's just... I think he's got a couple of lengths on this field with the setup of everything.
I completely agree. Might have egg on my face, but I think this is the surest I've been about a runner heading into a staying handicap race since Incentivise. He just perfectly profiles for this race because he looks like a horse who was not out of place in our Way for Age ranks. He's clearly better than those Group 3, Group 2 horses that he was against in the naturalism. And he's only got 52.5 kilos here. And he gets a nice draw. So Jamie will take him. Maybe he'll be 2 or 3 pairs back on the fence, which isn't completely ideal, but I'm thinking that there's enough pace in this race, enough speed from all over across multiple different barriers that they're going to break up. And it's a Caulfield Cup. You're probably going to get your chance. Jamie's not riding in great form, absolutely, but as she gets out over a distance on a horse like this, just get him to settle and then just ride for luck. I think there's going to be enough natural speed in the race for you to find your way out, Jamie. Look, I got much better price than he is now for this race. So I've already clipped my ticket. If he wins, I'm a happy chappy. He's incredibly well placed.
I agree. Royal Supremacy, the Metropolitan winner. I think he's probably one of the better Metrop winners placed in a Caulfield Cup for a while. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, I think so. You know where he's going to be in the running. He keeps improving with every run. He's going to be rock hard fit. Cousin Robbie stays on. He's got a nice draw. Again, I think CS of Sneesby Racing fame has been kissed on the dick with this race. He's got 3 genuine chances who've all drawn well. And I think Royal Supremacy wouldn't shock me to see him fighting at the finish.
Yep. Now, Valiant King, outside of last start, his career best run in Australia was his first run in Australia behind Without a Fight's Caulfield Cup win. And that was, I think, the 3rd quickest Caulfield Cup in history. So if it is run to the tempo that you're suggesting, I think this horse will actually thrive, especially with that lead-up run. I think he's a knockout at $26.
Yeah. I think he needs that genuinely fast pace from that gate. He's going to be coming from close to last. So I fully expect him to be winding up down the outside and coming home strongly on his way to a Melbourne Cup. Again, one for exotics. If you're keen on him, definitely at that price.
Yeah, and I swear, maybe I dreamt this. I don't know. But I thought they were bypassing this to go to a Moonee Valley Gold Cup and then heading to a Melbourne Cup.
I think that was the original intention, but then I think Aussie Kia has probably looked at the order of entry for this race because originally Birdman, and I don't know if he's in Royal Supremacy as well, but Birdman was the first or second emergency if everyone who was still in the field was in the ballot order was going to actually run. So I think he's waited to see, okay, what's this actually going to look like? And now that he knows Birdman's getting a run, he's like, well, fuck it, I'll throw Valiant King in there as well. Might as well.
Yeah, okay. All right. And then Plymouth, $71 on the quick backup from a sedately run Herbert Power. Would be shocked. So, half yours on top for you.
Yeah, half yours on top. He just looks incredibly hard to beat. I think all of Craig's horses can run super, and I wouldn't be shocked if any of them won, to be honest. But this is a worthy Caulfield Cup favourite for mine.
Yeah, I agree. I am going to be having a Quinella with Middle Earth. I think Middle Earth is just... Sure, they're big margins, but I think he's prepped up right. You want a grand final horse on grand final day, and he has put in good performances here as well. I think he's acclimatised well. He's drawn well. You'll kind of know your fate, Sulcombe style.
Absolutely.
After the jump. Now, Middle Earth does not have a turn of foot like Sulcombe did. No. So he needs to be more closer to the speed in front of half yours to beat him. So that's where Mark needs to earn his paycheck.
Yeah.
All right, the Tristarc. Group 2, 1,400 metres for the mares at set weights and penalties. Lady in Pink won this last year from Rote to Arataki, Chain of Lightning, Colette, and Madame Rouge. Is today the day for a bounding, or do you just want to let it go?
I think Blake is going to get her into a really prominent position from gate 5, and I think it's her day. Like, I've been thinking that for a while, but I'm pretty sure last up was actually the first time though I actually backed her. I think previous to that I was thinking that she'd run well. I think it is the day. She's got a bit of weight relief from the toppies, and I think Blake's just going to take it all luck out of the equation right forward. Miraval Rose, you could argue I might get out of the casino with that horse, but the setup looks really good for her again from gate 1. It just looks to be a bit more pressure up front, and they know where she's going to be, so I think the jocks won't let her get around Caulfield without trying to chuck some flies in the ointment. So she wouldn't shock me if she won Miraval Rose. Gate 1, perfect for her. Splashback can run well, and so can Tuileries or Tulleries?
Tuileries.
But look, prepared to hang my hat on it. A bounding in the last. Bit of a redemption arc.
Okay. I was between Miraval Rose. Splashback was very good, beating a bounding last start as well. A bounding, obviously, and Tuileries. And they're all around the same price, which makes it more difficult. So I am a bit torn here. Ruffy in the race, which won us the quaddie on Cox Plate Day last year, is Lady Jones. Maybe not going as well, but yeah, I'll have a little bit of a soft spot for the lady as well.
Why didn't they save her till next week?
Yeah, true. Yeah. Back to the scene of the crime. All right, let's get to Randwick. So Randwick, not as straightforward. So rail is out 3 metres. Currently rated as soft 5, and I can tell you from being on the ground in Sydney today, it was a nice, dry and hot and dry day. But there is a thunderstorm scheduled for tomorrow night, and it's 0 to 10 mil. Now, that I wouldn't be surprised if it dumped like 25 mil down, or if it dumped like 1. So, the rating of this track is I have no idea.
Your guess is as good as mine.
If it is big, we'll get to the Everest. I think it puts serious question marks about the favourite, but let's assume it's going to be soft 5, improving to a good 4 for the sake of this podcast. The Reginald Allen, Group 3 for the 3-year-old fillies, open handicap. Good horses win this race. Aliana last year, Arctic Glamour, A Lot More Love, Fangirl, and Forbidden Love. So some really smart mares have won this as the 3-year-old filly. Oof, this was difficult. There's there's a lot of races where there's about 4 chances around that $4 or $5 this weekend.
Yeah, this is a tricky race to get us started off with. I found about how many horses are in the race. 11 winning chances. I don't know, mate. Do you have an opinion on any of these fillies?
Didn't mind the look of Samarel. Thought the trial was quite good. Has had market support in her previous runs as well. So potentially her. Has the freak Zach Lloyd on. Barrier 1, drawn to do no work. So potentially her, but yeah, it's a bit difficult, this one.
Yeah, couldn't give out a tip if you had a gun to my head.
The St. Ledger, 2,600 metres Group 3 at set weights and penalties. Athabascan won this last year. Land Legend the year prior, where he nearly actually ran through the fence on his Australian debut. Stockman, I'm assuming that horse has been retired because he would be turning up in a race like this.
Yeah, he would be. That's a funny horse.
Warning, the year prior, God bless
He's
his
another
cotton
funny
socks.
Hey,
Fun
owes
fact,
us nothing. Owes us nothing.
Nothing. Fun fact, Hush Rider, Big Blue and Big Duke won this as well.
Fuck, that's an honour roll.
Yeah, a few of our favourites.
Yeah.
I heard something that Willie Haggis has a winning strike rate of, I think it's 11 winners from 25 starters at Randwick. Or maybe it's even in Australia. Probably is in Australia. That's actually unbelievable.
Oh,
Sam
mate.
Hawkins, up and coming stayer overseas, one paced, but superior staying form, I would suggest.
Guess who's on him? Guess who's piloting this horse? J-Mac, when Chris Waller has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 horses in the race. I think James just said, "Oh, actually, Chris, he booked me on this horse about 6 months ago. I didn't know who you'd have in the race. Sorry, mate." Oh, looks a clear bet. He's $2.60 at the moment with Ned's. Sydney money for foreign horses. Last time I saw such a massive go was for Via Sistina in her debut run in the Ranvet. And she duly saluted. So if that 260 starts to get trimmed up, ready to go.
My counterpoint to that is Via Sistina ran third in the Champions Stakes prior to coming over. This horse is not even ran in a listed race.
Perhaps not the greatest comparison, but like we've seen it with Dubai Honor.
Yeah. Like I think where that point is really salient is like it's in a staying race, not at middle distance at 2,000 meters. You know what I mean? It's like he's not going up against any stars. Like he's going up against Wycliffe. You know what I mean? Like, So
are you going to take $3.90 about More Felons, or are you going to take $2.60 about this thing?
Yeah. Well, More Felons is the danger, mate. Big time.
He ran well on the Metro.
He ran super at about 150 to 1. But
starting price profile.
Yeah. So, and you have to take $3.90 here. Barrier 2, Tommy Berry's in form, big time. I don't know. I am torn between those two. I think they're the two for me. Race 3 is the... we're just doing all 10, by the way. It's the Big Dance Wild Card handicap, 1,600 metres. Mate, I thought today could be the day for Swift.
I think it's the day. I think
it has to be, right?
It absolutely has to be. And with respect to Tyler Schiller and Alicia Collett, I think Tyler Schiller has probably done his dash on this horse. I think he's just done his dash, and they're just thinking, fuck, we just need to change it up. And obviously Alicia Collett rode him in the Epsom because 50 kilos. Gets a nice gate, Swift Falcon. He's always shown ability. Like, it's got to be the day, and then if it's not, it's never again.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an easy bet to have because it's the last bet you ever have on this horse.
Yeah.
Probably either way, to be fair. Last year's winner, Duke Haas, awfully unlucky at Doomben last start. He should have won that race. And he can pop up in a race like this. He did it last year, and he's at a each way price. Vivier, she split Headley Grange and fully lit at Newcastle, and she beat home Swift Falcon that day as well. And so potentially, and I think she actually gets a weight advantage. Actually, maybe not. Maybe they're pretty much level weights compared to that run. So she doesn't win out of turn, so it's a bit of a gross race, but I think almost chips in on the class of Swift Falcon, and if it doesn't happen, then it doesn't happen ever again. Yeah. The Anx Stakes is race 4, so for the mares at open set weights and penalties, previous winners of this race, Lekvart last year, Renaissance Woman. It's when I actually tipped half the card that year. That was a good day. That was a great day. That was a fantastic day. Hope in Your Heart, Mirror Vision, Emeralds, and Natoya. She was a funny horse.
She was a funny horse, Natoya.
This, I thought, was difficult because Perfumist was outstanding last start, but can she replicate that again at this level? I don't know.
She's one who you try and get on at odds. Like, she was $7 last start. I feel like she's one of those horses who disappoints when everyone's on her. I think Idle Fly's going super. Sticky gate makes it harder, but it's a tricky race.
Yeah. If you're forgiving like me, just feeling lucky could potentially turn things around. Zero excuses for that Moonee Valley run, but Tommy Berry went down there for one ride. And previous to that, she was 3 wide, no cover, and was fantastic. Beat home Pisces on Stradbroke Day as well in the Gunsing Classic. So she has that Queensland form. So she's potentially an improver. Verona Rose has been really consistent, but she can run on a bit. Idle Fly was probably the one that I was coming back to. But yeah, from that gate, she's going to get very far back as well.
Yeah.
The Cozzy, 1,200 metres, set weights, penalties. Do I even need to look at the winners of this race? I think it's just fucking front page, right? Yeah, far too easy. Front page. Arcado, It's Me as well. So, mate, I thought Compelling Truth had some pretty good form here. Soft draw. Was only 3.5 lengths off Angel Capital in that Chautauqua Stakes run, and gone. Beat home Miraval Rose that day, and then Miraval Rose has gone on to do what she's done as well. 6 lengths off Jolly Star Briasa. I think that kind of looks pretty well set up for a race like this.
Yeah, I think so. Like, do you think there could be a result in this race?
I think it's obviously between, like, say, your Front Page, your Compelling Truth, Gallant Star, Clear Thinking. Like,
yeah,
I think it's pretty, like, one-dimensional, if that's the wrong word or the right word.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well, which makes me worried. But yeah, look, I think Clear Thinking without Parallel, like, they're probably the two for me. But yeah, I don't think I'd have a bet in this race personally.
Fair. All right, race 6 is the Sydney Stakes, 1,200 metres, Group 3 at Way for Age level. Overpass won this last year from I Am Me, rocketing by Big Parade, Trumbull, Deprive, Piarata in her time, and Spieth. So some genuine B and C graders in amongst the A graders, let's be fair. We get to see one of the triplets here in Golden Mile.
Me too.
Barry 2. He's usually really fat first up, though, isn't he?
He is Golden Mile. He's with Joe Pride for the first time, though.
Yeah.
I don't know what to expect from this triplet. He's separated from his siblings. Maybe he's a bit cantankerous and wants to come out here and win. I miss you guys.
So, do you think Joe Pride's put him through like a Madge Maguire sort of preseason?
Maybe. Look, I know Joe apparently he's pretty easy on his horses, but mate, this is a fucked race. Let's be really honest with each other. Like when Generosity comes up at $2.90 with the good people at Ned's, and I'm like, yeah, she's run third to Jolly Star and Briasa, in the shorts, which is clearly reads really well that form, but I don't know, just sort of. I don't know, just a bit stinky this race. I feel for the sauce.
Well, mate, I think Generosity is nearly the best bet of the day.
Is it that simple though? Is it that simple?
I think it might be, mate, because honestly, I think that horse runs a race. I'm not saying it wins by any stretch. I think it runs a race in an Everest. Like,
yeah.
So I think it has to be that simple. Like, other horses that wouldn't shock. Disneck wouldn't shock. And
prick of a horse.
The Hong Kong horse who actually ran behind him there, Beauty Charge, was actually quite good too. And he's 27-1. Good draw. So he wouldn't shock. The rest of them, like Ostraka wouldn't shock. My guy Firestar at 70-1, like, might have to have a shilling on. Rothy wouldn't shock. But the rest, I think she's just third up. J Mac, who's been in dog shit form. Like, it's the obvious bet to have for me. I think she just kind of wins.
Yeah, fair enough. Like, right. Everything else is like you're trying to make a case for, whereas her case is like, look, she ran third in the shorts to Jolly Star and Briasa.
Yeah.
That's the case.
Yeah.
I get it.
That's it. All right, the Ned's Everest, 1,200 metres, Group 1, away for age level. Bella Nips won it last year. Think about it the year prior. Giga Kick the year prior to that. Nature Strip, Classic Legend, yes, Red Zell and Red Zell. Runner by runner. Ka Ying Rising. What do you do with him?
Oh, unless you're a futures punter and you've got tickets for when he opened at 15s and 7s and 3s and 4s and stuff like that, like, I couldn't dive into $1.75. If he brings his best, of course he'll win. Of course he will. But what if he doesn't? And you've taken the $1.75 and you're like, shit, I guess I need to remortgage the house. Gamble responsibly. Like, I wouldn't encourage anyone to dive into that price, but he could also win by 6 lengths. Like, his best is very good. So the way I'm playing this race is, I'm gonna chuck on like a couple of filthy multis this weekend just for a laugh, and he's gonna be in those, and then I'm just gonna have a couple of bets on a couple of things in this that are at a much bigger price, and then I'm just gonna leave it. What do you do with this?
Same opinion, because like Zach Purton said it best, like if he runs to his trial, he won't be winning. Like, I think it's as simple as that, because he's won some trials in Hong Kong by 10 lengths. So,
yeah.
And obviously, like 14 of 16 is insane. Like, that's ridiculous. And he's never been outside the Quinella. And like, looking through his profile, right? And I don't want to like look back too far, but let's just look back from, say, November last year. Won by 3.5 lengths, 6 subsequent winners from that race. We won in Sha Tin in December, 5 subsequent winners from the race. One in January, 5 subsequent winners from that race. You know what I mean? It's like there's actually some depth to the form as well. So he can absolutely win at that price. No thanks.
No, couldn't possibly, because so much can go wrong when a horse travels, and it makes the feats of those who do travel and horses who have the balls, trainers who have the balls to do it and win which is what makes it so much more impressive. Like how many lengths did travelling to Australia take off Romantic Warrior? 2?
Yeah,
2 lengths?
Probably.
Kaying Rising, if you take 2 lengths off him, I think that brings him right back to a couple of these peaking. That's how much better he is. Like, if he's not at his best, he can still beat this field by a length. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So yeah, I'm so excited to see him run in Australia. Like, it's so good that David Hayes and the owner, who's a prominent owner in Hong Kong, forget his name, my apologies, is taking the punt. It's fantastic. Love to see it. And I'll be happy if he wins. Great. Because it's not like I've truckloaded $1.75.
Yeah. And I think David Hayes said it really well. He's the highest rated horse on turf in the richest race on the planet on turf. So it's
really cool.
It's a great spectacle.
Yep.
Barrier 7, probably should talk about his racing style for those who haven't seen him. This horse pings the gates, mate.
Yeah.
Like,
One of the
he is
great
quick
pingers.
out. He goes quick out, but Zach just gets him typically in a good rhythm, and he can actually take a sit once he finds a position. Interesting to see what Overpass will do, drawn outside of him, because obviously he will be leading up this field, and then Marzu drawn 2 is just going to be going frantic out front, I would have thought.
Yeah. I think that brings a pace in the Everest that we probably haven't seen for a couple of years, where it's super genuine up front. They'll know exactly where he is. I think Overpass wants to lead at all costs, and Kaying Rising doesn't need to. He can say, okay, well, you bring me across, and I can either sit in the just off you, or I can sit in the 1-1, because Marzu will lead from that gate until Overpass comes across, and then decides if he wants to go ahead of Marzu or behind him. With Kaying Rising, he's going to be in that first 4. I think he's going to get the perfect run, and I think there's going to be a lot of pace in the race. And who can absorb a hot pace and then sprint off the back of it? Well, Kaying Rising can at his best, because he's a freak. So yeah, exciting.
If the thunderstorm comes heavier than expected, I think there's serious question marks over this horse over soft ground, though. Never seen in his career he could actually thrive. But
yeah, true.
They were saying that that trial he didn't appreciate the ground, and it wasn't even that soft. So that's something to keep note. But obviously a winning chance. Briasa, dog shit barrier 10, winning machine as well. 8 wins from 12 starts. Sneaky good resume.
He's a lightly raced 5-year-old gelding, Briasa. I don't think we've seen the best from him. I don't think we've seen his peak. And if he peaked in this race, I wouldn't be surprised. It's just whether his peak is going to be good enough to win. I think he's probably there's 2 horses who are the biggest losers in the barrier draw. I think he's probably the biggest, because the other one is a sort of a get back horse anyway. Briasa, I think from that gate, I think Tyler needs to get him across. Will he have a bit of bad luck and not find a position? Perhaps. So I'm happy to take him on. If we're looking at this field without Kaying Rising in it, he'd be one that I'd be happy to take on from that gate.
Yeah, fair. Third up last prep, he was very disappointing in the all-aged as well. Maybe he didn't fully run out that 1,400 metres there, but just something to note.
Yeah, fair.
Something to note. Especially from that barrier. I'm happy to take him on. Overpass, 50-1. Mate, you finally see this horse first up in an Everest. We've been asking for this for years. The problem about it is the Everest isn't run in Perth. So,
yeah. Newgate picking him up, I think, is astute, though, because I reckon they would have looked at this year's Everest and thought, we think it's Kaying Rising. So let's negotiate with an ownership group with a horse who's probably not going to win, but would love to see him in the Everest, and with a trainer who would be doing exactly the same. So I reckon they've brokered a really good deal. Newgate. Plus, they know where he's going to be in the running, and they're thinking, maybe he can hang on for a second or a third. Let's see how he goes. You're going to get a run for your money with Overpass because you know where he's going to be. He's a bomb fresh. He just doesn't have the class of most of these.
Yep, agreed. Jimmy Star, barrier 11, I'm assuming you think he's got a dog shit gate as well.
Yeah, just because I think for him, he needs to... I think he needed to draw a middle gate to be sitting within striking distance because, he's got a fucking electric turn of foot. You know it. I know it. Everyone knows it. But he's just got to launch. And if he's drawn gate 11, and if he's in the last pair, which I think he might end up in, he just might have too much to do, and it'll be another. Geez, imagine if he sat a little bit closer. I reckon it's really dimmed his chances, unfortunately, Jimmy Star. But there could be an Ethan Brown masterclass. He might jump a little bit better, and if he's 4 pairs back, 1 out, would love to see him letting rip down the Randwick Straight. He needs a gun ride from Ethan Brown, which he's capable of to feature.
Yep, agreed. And I think he will be searching for the 3 wide with cover run. As you said, because I think as you said, if this horse is last, I'd be shocked if he was winning. There's just too much to do. So I think he needs to be about within 3 lengths at the top of the straight, I reckon.
He needs the classic legend style run. Start winding up at the top of the straight and can be a fair way away, but within striking distance, and really let rip down the last 300, 400 metres.
Yep. War Machine's drawn perfect in barrier 4, drawn to do 0 work. How many unit rows has he won? 4 in a row, including a Stradbroke. We've seen the Stradbroke winners win before. Arguably very similar prep to think about it, to be fair.
Yeah. He was super first up. I think that was his best ever run. And the market loved him, and it was his 4th run with the Hayes stable, and they've probably really gotten to know him after the break. I think War Machine, it might be a bit too soon for him. He's a 5-year-old gelding, he's relatively lightly raced, and he's clearly doing this. I think he can win a TJ in the autumn because he's got a great racing style. He's a robust horse. He can absorb pressure, and then he can sprint. So it might just be a little bit too soon for him, but it wouldn't shock me if he finishes in the top 4 at all.
Yeah, I agree.
Machine. I think he's a good horse.
Very good horse. I think he ran 5th. I was kicking up for this horse in a Golden Eagle at a big price.
That's right. Yeah.
And I reckon he ran 5th that day, and that's where that would have been last year. And he's just improved significantly. And I think that's his only run in his career. No, it's not. He's had a few more than those. But he was super in that Golden Eagle as well. Marzu at $126 with the good people and Eds. You have a conspiracy theory about this horse.
We'll get to that in a second. But is this his 4th Everest?
Let me look. Track distance. So the Premier, Hallmark, Sydney Stakes, Premier. I reckon it's his 3rd.
Well, he was in it. He was in it for 2 years in a row. 4-year-old, 5-year-old. Did he get
2023, 2022? I reckon it's his 3rd now.
Yeah. So
22, 23. Yep. He ran last year in it.
Did he run in it last year?
Nah. He ran in the Sydney Stakes behind Overpass.
Gotcha. Okay. So my conspiracy is, so you're wrong. They obviously had Private Harry, who went amiss and was subsequently sent to the paddock. So they were the last slot holder to pick a horse. And I think they've already looked at the race and they've thought to themselves, well, Magic Time's already worth a squillion as a broodmare, and we've already paid it. Therefore, really, like, she doesn't need to win at Everest. We've already got her. The prize money would be nice, but you're wrong. Does not need prize money. But they've got a 4-year-old entire 4-year-old colt in this race who's drawn perfectly, Angel Capital. And for him to win a race like this, if he's going to be any chance, he needed to draw a gate because he's a sort of midfield horse, and I think he needs a bit of pace on to show his best, Angel Capital. And I'm thinking they've just picked up a horse like Marzu because they've thought, well, he's going to inject some speed into the race, but he's definitely not winning. We just hope he's not a traffic cone for our horse, Angel Capital. Angel Capital's really their slot holder. They're the horse for their slot, Angel Capital. And Marzu was just a horse to inject a bit more speed. So I'm glad he's in the race because this is going to be a true sprint, I'm thinking. So, yeah, good to have you, Marzu. You ain't winning, but bruh.
Yeah, for the loyal listeners, Marzu, we've been punting on Marzu basically his entire career.
20 years
since
at
he's
least.
been a gelding.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, believe it or not, when he was a young colt, I actually black booked him when he still had his nuts because he had an elite turn of foot from the back, but he was clearly a nutcase. Gelded, Snowden's got him to run on pace more, and then he just turned into a winning machine.
And I reckon we got out of the casino with him too.
Yes, mate. Yeah, we did.
Like we backed him that entire prep, and then he went off the ball. I don't think we backed him though post that prep.
No, he didn't, mate. He didn't win a race. That his first Everest year, and he won that Team Blue bonus of $5 million.
That's right, mate.
Yeah.
Is the Doom at 10,000 a bit cursed? Side note,
Maybe. Yeah,
Sunshine in Paris won it last year.
True.
Earlier this year,
Marzu.
retired. Giga, Marzu, a little bit cursed. But anyway, speaking of cursed,
Jedi Bill.
Jedi Bill, come to the dark side, Jedi Bill. Honestly, good on Mulberry Racing for picking their own horse, but I could not see him featuring.
He's won once at the distance from 7 attempts, and it was a listed race beating Periel home. Angel Capital is an absolute, I think, is a winning chance. We just haven't.
I think he is.
Mate, he arguably should have won the Rupert Clark.
I think he's. Where's his ceiling?
I think he's better at 1,200 metres. Barrier 3, alpha jockey on to control this entire.
Benny used to ride him when he was with Clinton McDonald.
Yeah,
so that's an astute booking by Chris Waller. Perfect draw for him. He's going to need a little bit of luck, but I think he'll be just behind the speed, and he's got an electric turn of foot. $23, definition of a knockout chance.
Yeah, I think I'd be surprised if he was that close. I reckon he'll be worse in midfield. Like, it'll be hard in your mouth stuff, but I reckon he'll be the Mars Crusader run up the inside. I reckon. Jolly Star, outstanding first up performance, and she's a first up horse, and I think it's an astute performance to have her, 4 weeks between runs here.
Yep. She's a winning chance, Jolly Star, absolutely. That was a fantastic win first up over an unsuitable trip. But for mine, she's $6.50, and I'm not going to take that against Carling Rising. Like, I want a bit more juice. But she can win, absolutely. Drawn perfect. Yeah.
Gee, you're getting a price about Lady Shenandoah now for one poor run.
And that's what I'm talking about. Jolly Star. I'd rather take Lady Shenandoah 14s with D Lane, who's been riding super from an identical gate. Back home, Lady Shenandoah as well. Maybe she's just a better horse going the Sydney way.
Interesting bookings there, though, because Frosty rode Jolly Star for the Newmarket, didn't he?
Yeah, I'm thinking that J-Mac
was
given a choice.
Captain's call. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
He must have, because he must have rode her. Yeah, he must have just given her. She must have given him such a good feel first up.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. And J-Mac rode her in the Manicato, and she was disappointing. So play on. But yeah, she was good in the Concord, obviously. Against inferior opposition, let's be honest. But forgive for one poor run in the Manicato, $14 is an enormous price. And $71 for Magic Time's huge too.
It's a big price. I just think she's not. This isn't her go. 1,200 meters against these. But that is a big price. Where does she get to from the gate? No, prepared to risk.
And then Tempted 51 kilos with Willow on out of a ferocious Golden Rose, and her last run at 1,200 meters, she absolutely licked the 3-year-olds. So with that weight, easy draw. If she gets in a prominent position, has equal luck, $15 is a big price for her.
Yeah. I'm going to have a decent bet on Tempted. I really like the setup. First up win was, I know you're not a massive ratings guy, but there was only one rating better over a sprint distance this year, and it was by Jolly Star in the Newmarket Handicap. And then gets to a 1,400 metre race where Baybuck just absolutely lit up the clock, and she just couldn't make ground because I don't think she's a 1,400 metre horse. But I love that as a run leading into a fast, high-pressure Everest where she's got 51 kilos on her back. She's got Willow, who's riding the house down, and she's drawing gate 1. We don't know what her ceiling is. Tempted. I really like the setup for her, and Kieran Ma is a cheeky man, and I think she'll run super. So I'm going to have a good bet on Tempted, $15, and I'm going to have a good bet on Angel Capital. And then I'm going to chuck Kaying Rising in a couple of multis with a couple other shorties. Life's good.
Life is good, mate. Well said.
Life's good.
I'm going to stick fat with Jimmy Star. First thought, best thought. I just think you are needing a fantastic ride from Ethan Brown.
He can do it.
He definitely can, and he's probably the first pick jockey for Kieran Maher, and that's saying something for the amount of horses that he has. Just want him to be not so far off him, head it at the top of the straight, and then just mow him down, boy, if you can. But honestly, if you include Kaying Rising, I think there's 9 winning chances from the field.
Yeah, it's funny how quickly things can turn around. Like we're a bit down in the dumps last year about our sprinting ranks and how they're all like a little bit mid and all sort of close to each other, and we're missing a superstar. I think a lot of these, none of them are, you would call superstars yet, but I think most of the field has the potential to be an incredibly talented sprinter. And we've seen snippets from a lot of them, but they're all on the younger side. So I think the next 2 or 3 seasons on the track for sprinters are going to be really, really good. So it's exciting.
Yeah, well said. Mate, we've been going near 2 hours, so let's get through this. The Silver Eagle, 1,300 metres, Group 3. Top 3 punched their ticket for the Golden Eagle. Linebacker is a $3.60 favourite who has already got his ticket for a Golden Eagle, so I would be wary that he's fully wound up here. Obviously, he was fantastic in a trial against Kaying Rising, but couple at a decent price. Mayfair, haven't seen him for a while. Change of stable, change of connections. How many times do we see Derby Racing with Bjorn for that style of horse get the job done? Excellent trial. So I think he can run a race. And then the other one is, and I'm much maligned to actually say it, is Lord Penman. Has to run top 3 to punch his ticket into the Golden Eagle.
Yeah, I think Lord Penman's a good bet at $10. He was definitely one I was considering. I think Sabage is an interesting horse. Joining the Mick Price and Michael Kent Jr. stable after running in Adelaide form at the moment. Don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Gets D-Lane, gets a nice draw. Been trialling super. Don't send a lot of horses up to Sydney, but if a Golden Eagle slots on the offer, he'll be running well, Sabage. So him and Lord Penman are the two for me.
Yep. All right, the King Charles III Stakes, you'll see that it's at the True Mile distance, 1,609 metres now. So Wait for Age, Group 1. Obviously saw Cheerwolf win this last year, Fangirl the year prior, Animo, Very Elegant, Colding, Avilius and Winx won it 3 times prior to that. I think I need to do a bit more for this one. I really don't know, because Pride of Jenny is going to inject a ton of speed into this. And I don't know what to do, because it's a better setup for Cheerwolf, obviously, but he hasn't really been going good enough. He's got the blinkers first time, so are they kind of reaching? Royal Patronage is a really important runner, because he's going to take up the rest of the field to them. And then you have the likes of Pierre and Yellow Brick, who are more tactical as well. So I think it almost sets up really well. And obviously Mr. Brightside, who's tactical too. I think it sets up for the likes of Lake Forest, Tom Kitten, Cheerwolf and Fangirl. I think one of the backmarkers get the job done here.
Yeah, Fangirl's an interesting one for this race, because she's at her best when she's racing over a mile and it's the pace isn't actually that frenetic, because she can conserve her energy and then have that elite turn of foot over 400 metres that just probably only a couple other horses in the country have. So I don't know whether she gets that. Pride of Jenny rating so well up front last start in the Fen makes me think that maybe they'll try and do that again and not go so hell for leather. And if they do, that obviously brings Fangirl right into it from a sticky draw. I was probably leaning towards Lake Forest, though, because it is that William Haggis connection with Zacon with a nice gate, and been running in Group 1s in the Northern Hemisphere over 1,400 metres. Yeah, it's a bit different to their middle distance races. But last time he was here, he bolted in a Golden Eagle. So getting $7.50, like just for a little bit of an alternative form line, I'm probably prepared to have a bet, I'd say.
Yeah, the question mark for me is he hasn't won since that Golden Eagle.
No.
Either. And, but he's been unlucky, particularly in his last couple. So just, when was his last run? Yeah, August. So he's basically going to be essentially 2 months between runs on what's going to be probably a more genuine tempo than what he sees back home. I just don't know if that's the right setup. Tom Kitten finished beside Attrition last start, and Attrition nearly knocked off the Hill Stakes again. I think at $26, he is not the worst, Tom Kitten. No. He needs a genuinely run race, and he does his best racing at Randwick as well. So he's obviously a winning chance. They've clearly pivoted from a Cox Plate path because of that missed first run, and it just hasn't gone his way. He's probably the overs in the race for me, but again, there's a ton of winning chances here.
Yeah, tricky race.
Yeah. And in the last, I just hope Sergeant Major gets a run. 1,400 metres. He hasn't got a jockey booking, but this is the target. Third up last time. He was super. He's a 1,400 metre horse. He's drawn okay. He just needs a run. Give him strength.
I haven't even looked at this race, mate, so good stuff.
All right. Drifters, thank you for hanging in there. I reckon that's clearly our longest of all time.
Easily.
So, but worth every second. Thank you for listening. Join our tipping comp, link in bio. Join the Neds Pop if you're brave enough. But if you're having a bet this weekend, do it with Neds.
Well said. Let's go get him. Let's climb Everest.
Yeah.